Hello everybody and welcome to part 8 of what if Superboy was in My Hero Academia. Real quick, if you haven't seen any of the previous parts or just want to refresh your memory, there's a link in the description below where you can watch them. Now I know there hasn't been a part in a while and I'm sorry because many of you have been asking them. I just didn't really click, and mainly because of the decline in views I haven't really felt like making one. That said, if you guys want more, let's go for 45 likes. I'll make the next part then, and when I'm back from my break. If you have any suggestions, be sure to leave them down in the comments, or go to my Discord where you can chat with me and other fans of the channel. With all that said, I'm going to start the video. In the previous episode, the students of Class 1B took place in their own one-week internships as part of the UA program. John's was a bit of an exciting one. He interned with his father, the great hero known as Superman. Since he has the ability of flight, he's allowed to do the internship even though Superman operates out of the US. On the last day of the internship, Clark looks at the time, takes John back home in order for him to get some rest. He and Lois then go on a date to do date night. A couple hours before a meteor crashed on Earth though, and only now are people arriving to inspect it. One of the scientists who arrived goes in with a laser, grabbing a sample of a metal that's in the crater. He grabs it and gets out of the crater, wanting to inspect it further. The meteorite starts twitching, however, as an arm breaks out of the containment suit that the doctor had just pierced. Doomsday then reaches out, grabbing the man, slamming him against the ground with such strength that it kills the man. The others look at him in horror. Doomsday's breached containment suit looks at them and lets out a fierce roar. He then jumps at another scientist, ripping his arm apart. The rest starts running away in fear. One scientist says, "Call the heroes!" Heroes such as Ectoplant, Cow Lady, and Captain Celebrity are called in. CC says, "Halt, evildoer, I'll have to take you down." Doomsday roars loudly, cutting CC off. He jumps in, punching him over and over again, taking him out of the fight in mere seconds. Electroplant shoots out a bolt of lightning at the villain, wanting to take it down. Doomsday doesn't even flinch and jumps at them. Cowgirl jumps in the way, however blocking the attack, but getting knocked out herself. Electroplant shouts, "Special move! Full discharge!" He lets out all of his power, expecting to defeat the beast, but again, Doomsday just goes through like nothing is there, stabbing the hero with the spike of his arm. Doomsday then jumps away, looking for more prey to hunt. He finds a city nearby, Metropolis. Many heroes have been dispatched from all over the nation to take care of this great threat. A vigilante spots the rampaging beast, the one known as Wild Dog. He starts firing at the beast, expecting to take it down, but it does nothing. The beast smashes into the ground, grabs a boulder, and shoots it at the vigilante, taking him down quickly. Doomsday then proceeds to kill civilians. Other heroes such as the Guardian, Hawk and Dove, and even some from the Night Force agency show up to try and defeat the beast and keep the civilians safe. Miles away in Washington, D.C., an advisor rushes into the Oval Office. The advisor says, "Mr. President, we have a crisis on our hands." Lex Luthor turns to him and says, "Can't you see we're busy?" The advisor says, It's very important, sir." Lex says, "Fine, what is it?" The advisor says, Remember the meteorite that landed on the eastern coast?" Lex says, "What about it? Did you find anything of interest?" The advisor starts sweating and says, well, sir." Lex says, "What is it? Spit it out already. What did you find?" The advisor says, well, sir, one of the scientists took a sample from the meteorite, but the meteorite started moving and, well, sir, it killed the head scientist and a bunch of others in the mission." Lex says, "So what? Call the heroes, have them contain it." The advisor says, "They already did, sir. A group of heroes were dispatched. The monster took care of them in seconds and set its rampage onto a nearby city." Lex says, "Metropolis, right? This could be a problem, especially with the re-elections around the corner. What's the kill count?" The advisor answers, well, sir, so far he's killed 172 people, 13 heroes, and it has injured over 1,000 people and 40 other heroes and vigilantes, and has cost us over $3 million in damages. Lex slams his desk and shouts, what? You wait for the damage to be this high to take action? The advisor says, sir, heroes have tried to stop it, but, anyway, what should we do, sir? Lex says, I don't know. Call the military, the Justice League, or whatever you have to get this taken care of. The advisor goes to leave. Lex says, oh, and after it's taken care of, I want the remains taken to Luthor Corp for analysis. Lex then sits back down and says, sorry for the interruption, Lena. Where were we? The advisor then goes to call the military and the Justice League. Quick note, in this version of events, the Justice League is a team of heroes comprised of extraordinary heroes. Most of them are in the top 20 of the hero chart, at least in America. Wally West, Jessica Cruz, Roy Harper, Troya, John Jones, Tim Drake, and Arthur Curry are called and dispatched. They also try to reach Superman, but he doesn't answer the phone. The heroes show up at 12 p.m. US time, aka noon. Doomsday already laid waste to a huge area of the city, increasing the damages by a lot, beating every challenger that came its way. The most powerful heroes in the US of A has to offer jump into battle, trying to take it down. Wally West, the Flash, runs around it, hitting it with multiple supersonic punches in succession. At the same time, Arthur thrusts his stride into the beast, but it just breaks on impact with the skin. Jessica and Roy start shooting different projectiles at him, while Troya jumps in to beat the crap out of it. Troya is the only one who makes any headway in the fight, pushing the beast back a bit. Feeling something annoying him, he grabs Wally, crushes his back in his knee, and throws Wally at Troya with such strength that even she is taken out of the fight. John Jones then jumps into the fight, giving Doomsday a particular challenge. He punches at the Martian, but John just goes intangible, the punch going through him. The beast tries over and over, but he just hits the ground. John then counterattacks, sending the beast flying back. He then goes after the monster, who is now on the losing side of the battle. John punches the beast over and over, trying to subdue it, breaking more and more of the containment suit. Eventually, the beast breaks through a building, causing some sparks to hit a gas line, creating an explosion that combusts the building. John goes to attack further, but he feels the fire around and he is hesitant. Doomsday sees the weakness and takes advantage of it, managing to beat the Martian fairly easily after that. Doomsday then goes back to his rampage, destroying the city. The army then shows up, shooting a missile at the beast, but it does nothing more than free him from more restraints. The beast, now with both arms free, starts smashing up the city even more. Back at the White House, the advisor bursts back into the Oval Office. Lex asks, great, what is it now? The advisor says, sir, the beast. The media has started calling him Doomsday. Lex asks, you came here to tell me that? Don't waste my time. The advisor says, no, sir, I came to tell you that he killed or injured the soldiers sent. We dispatched the Justice League, but they were all beaten quickly enough. Lex says, what? Impossible. Who was dispatched? The advisor answers, those available, Mr. President: the Flash, Limelight, the Martian Manhunter, Troya, Arsenal, Red Robin, and Aquaman. Les asks, is that everyone? The advisor says, on those currently on call, yes, sir. That's everyone we dispatched. Lex asks, what about Superman? The advisor says, we couldn't reach him, sir. He seems to be taking time off with his family. Lex says, I don't care what he's doing. This is a national emergency. People are dying here. I don't care if he's having date night or doing something else. Lex grabs his phone and dials up the number. In the US, it's currently 1:32 p.m., but in Japan, it's 3:23 a.m. Clark gets ready to go to bed. His wife already there waiting for him. John is already sound asleep. He has been for a couple of hours. Clark's phone then starts ringing. Lois asks, could who could it be at this hour? Clark says, who knows? He grabs the phone and sees who is calling. He answers and says, Mr. President, do you have any idea what time it is over here? Lex says, listen here, Boy Scout, I don't care if it's 4 a.m. or it's date night or if you're on the moon right now. You need to come over to Metropolis now. Clark asks, what's going on? Lex says, a beast is rampaging through the city. The media is calling him Doomsday. Clark says, why don't you just call the Justice League? Lex says, we already did. The beast took care of them in less than 5 minutes. Now get your Clark hangs up. He then turns to Lois and says, sorry, honey, work calls. Lois says, go get them, Man of Steel. Clark quickly grabs his suit, putting it on. In 2 minutes, 32 seconds, and 46 milliseconds, he's in Metropolis. Upon arriving, the first thing he does is evacuate the city as fast as he can, getting a few thousand that hadn't left yet to safety. Superman then flies at Doomsday, punching him in the face as strong as he can. Doomsday flinches a bit, but not much. Clark says, huh, you're a tough one, aren't you? Doomsday roars at Clark and a fight ensues, with both of them going all out. The fight lasts 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 17 seconds. The city of Metropolis, at least the center, was completely decimated afterwards. The fight ended with both contestants beating each other to death. Superman managed to win the fight and keep everyone safe, but only at the cost of his own life. 4 hours after the fight ended, the world is still reeling from the fight, and another symbol has crumbled. At 9:32 a.m., John wakes up. He goes over his morning routine. He looks to check if his mom is awake, but she's not. So he just goes, grabs some cereal and milk, goes to the living room to watch some TV. Before he turns it on, he sees he has a lot of missed messages. One of them says, turn on the news. It's from Damien. Another one from Jay saying, did you see what's going on? Go to News Network 3052. A bunch of other messages from friends and classmates telling him to check the news or dude, I'm sorry, and a bunch of other stuff. John rushes to the TV, leaving the cereal on the counter. He turns on the TV, seeing the headline saying Doomsday, Superman in peril. He listens to a bit of the news coverage and finds out exactly what happened. The news then switches to the president giving a speech. Lex says, my fellow Americans, no, citizens of the world, today we suffer great tragedy. We lost someone very important to us. Superman. He gave his life in order to save all of us. He will be remembered in history as one of the greatest heroes this world has ever seen. He was a great friend to me and a friend to us all, but still, his deed will not go unforgotten. He has saved many of lives and he wants us to move forward. Clark Kent is the only Superman we'll ever have. No one else will ever be Superman. It's not about where they came from or what they wear on their chest. It's not even about their powers or our quirks. It's all about what we do. What Clark did for me and for all of us. I'll do what I can to uphold his legacy. For John, the rest of the day passes by in a bit of a daze. The next day it's back to business as usual. John makes his way to UA and classes resume. Upon entering his classroom, everyone except Damien goes to him asking things like, How are you doing? Are you okay? Others say, sorry for your loss, and things of the sort. The class day progresses normally. After a bit, it's hero training time. For Class 1B, it's a bit of combat training. Starfire gets with the class and says, alright class, get your suits and meet me at Ground Beta. A bit later there, Starfire explains the exercise. In this case, it's a simple 1-versus-1 combat in order to see exactly how everyone improved in fighting during the internships. The first few fights go by rather quickly. John is kind of out of it. Then it's his turn. He's up against Tetsu, who thinks, great, I'm up against the strongest in the class. Their match starts. Tetsu runs at him with a punch. Sloppily, John blocks the attack, just extending his arm. He then grabs onto Tetsu's broken fist and twists it, pinning him to the ground. Starfire then proceeds to give both of the students feedback on what they did well and what they can improve. Damien noticed that something is wrong, though, by seeing John fight. After the fights are over, the class is dismissed for the day. On his way to the changing room, Damien stops John. Damien asks, "Is everything okay?" John says, "I'm fine," and keeps walking. Damien says, "You aren't. You can not only tell by your attitude, but by your movements. If you let a death affect you that much, then it may cause you to fail in battle." Damien looks at his friend and says, "If you ever need to talk, I'm here for you, John. You aren't the only one who lost a father. So if you need to talk, be sure to talk to me." Tears coming down John's face, he says, "I just really miss him. I can't. It's hard to process this, and I feel like it's like all the spotlight's on me now. You have no idea how much pressure was outside this morning at my house. I don't even have access to all my powers, and I don't have him to guide me anymore." Damien hugs his friend and says, "I know how it feels, but it's not the end of the world. There are a lot of people who can still help you. Losing a father is hard, but especially you need to keep on going. If not, our future is going to look very grim. After all, we're going to be the future beacon of hope, right?" At the same time, in the US, Lex goes to Luthor Corp. He walks into a private elevator and hits a secret button that's hidden behind a panel. Lex asks, "How's Project Match coming along? We're going to need him a lot sooner than expected." Darcy, his assistant, says, "It's going along well, although keeping it all from Ms. Luthor has been difficult. Are you sure you want to continue with the illegal cloning experiments?" The elevator goes ding, and Lex walks out saying, "I'm afraid more crises like this one will happen soon enough. Unfortunately, the world no longer has Superman to protect it." Darcy asks, "What about All Might, sir?" Lex laughs and says, "That chump, he may be strong, but he's no Superman. Plus, his days are counted." Lex then leans on a railing, overseeing a bunch of test tubes, each with different versions of Project Match. Anyway, that's where I'm leaving it off for today. Again, I ask you guys to please hit that like button for the next part. I like this series a lot, and I really wanted to get a bit more support. It just hurts me that it doesn't have that many views, even part 1. I will make the next part no matter what, but after that, I really want to know if you guys want more. Unless this series gets a bit more support, I'm gonna slow down production on it. Still, I do hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below or go to my Discord. Link to that is in the description below as always, where you can talk to me more personally and yeah, a bunch of other stuff. Well, that's it for me for today. Until next time, everyone, have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!